Hello students, good morning. Welcome to Aman Bhalla Polytechnic College, Kotli, Pathankot. Presented by me. Now the first topic in the English lecture will be the communication skills. So let's talk about what is the communication first. The word communication is derived from a Latin word communicare, which means to impart, to make common and to share. According to W.H. Newman and C.F. Summer Jr., communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions or emotions by two or more persons. Peter Little goes a step further. In this book, Communication in Business, he says that the communication is the process by which information is transmitted between the individuals and organizations so that an understanding response results. So communication is the basic need of the mankind. It is the foundation of the civilized society. All the progress made by human beings has been made possible because of their ability to communicate. Communication is an integral part of our life. Most of our activities, like ordering a meal at a restaurant, hailing a taxi, reading newspapers, socializing with friends, involve communication. Now at the workplace too, communication reigns supreme. Whether it is meetings, conference or business writing, the common thread of communication runs through them all. Right? Now next is the process of the communication. So what are the process of the communication? That when a person decides to convey a fact, an opinion, an idea or an emotion to others, he sets the communication process. He can be called the sender or the source. What he decides to convey is called the message. So this message is encoded and sent through a channel to another person, or person is called receiver. This message is received by the receiver, who after understanding and interpreting it gives a suitable response or a feedback. Okay, now the levels of the communication. What are the levels? The human communication takes place at many levels. They can be at intrapersonal level, interpersonal level, or organizational level, mass level. Now first we have to discuss now the intrapersonal. So what is the intrapersonal? It is communication with one's own self. This is almost a reflex action. For example, one automatically jumps off the road to avoid a speeding truck. Here you sense danger and send the message to the brain, which is receiver. It sends the feedback to act this way to avoid danger. It is the most basic communication without which no other communication is possible. Even while communicating with others, one is always communicating within to judge, plan, consider, process and evaluate information. Now next is the interpersonal level. So what is this? It is the sharing of information among people. This can be formal or informal. For example, your interaction with your boss is different from your interaction with your colleagues. So this style of interpersonal communication depends upon surroundings, psychological factors and even on culture. Now the third type is the organizational level. This level of communication is the lifeblood of an organization. Due to the complex nature of modern business communication, it has to be effective to enhance coordination of different departments like planning, staffing, production, sales, stores, accounts, finance, public relations, etc. Okay, now these are the organizational levels. The last one is the mass level. This level of communication is the communication with a large group of people. Organizations make use of it to popularize their products and educate their workers. There can be a communication between human beings and non-human titles. It requires a high degree of understanding between the sender and the receiver. A dog retrieving a thrown ball is an example of such a kind of communication. Right? Now the next topic is the objectives of the communication. So what is the objective of the communication? Communication in an organization is necessary for its functioning. It is needed at every step to ensure the progress of the organization. So, in fact, it commences at the planning stage when an organization is set up and is crucial for running the business. So, communication in an organization aims at the following purposes. First is the information, order and instruction, advice and counseling, persuasion, education, motivation, warning. So these are the objectives of the communication. Now the next are the essentials of the communication. So what are the essentials of the communication? Communication is the most important human skill. It is very crucial for success, right? So essential of the communication, of the effective communication, can be divided into two types of the communication. First is the oral communication and the written communication. Now, while doing oral communication, our communication is all about building bridges to try to trap with the other. Next, be polite when we are doing oral communication. Maintain clarity of speech. Use active voice in oral communication. Be precise, be brief, and pay attention to the volume, rate of speech, and diction. So these are the points which have to keep in mind while doing oral communication. Next is the written communication. So what are the points we have to keep in mind? They describe details clearly. Now in written communication, we have to describe each and everything very clearly. Ensure that the facts you are writing are correct and current. Avoid ambiguity. Use correct grammar. Use befitting terminology. Avoid block letters for all text. Learn formal and conventional style. Provide and maintain neatness. So if the writing is neatness, everyone can easily read that one. Okay. Now, after the essentials of the communication, the topic is media and the mode of the communication. Communication plays a pivotal role in an organization. In fact, we can say that in the competitive business environment, communication is the lifeline for its survival. Okay. Now, to inform the public about the new courses being offered by the university, advertisements can be placed on internet, televisions and newspapers. So what are the available medias for these tasks? First is the written communication, oral communication, visual communication, audio-visual communication, computer-aided communication. So we have now discussed one by one what is the written communication, what type of written forms are there by which we can communicate with each other, like letters, emails, memos, circulars, faxes, reports, newsletters, bulletins, manuals, brochures, telegram, etc. So what are the features? Also have the main points that factually accurate written communication. It is factually accurate. It is a permanent record, legally valid, helpful in fixing responsibility, wide access, reference, right? So these written communication also has the drawback like the time consuming, involves a large number of people, and quick clarification and feedback is not possible in the written communication. Second one is the oral communication. So how we do oral communication, in which form? First, the telephonic conversation, meetings, conferences, seminars, interviews, group discussion and presentation. So what are the features of these types of communication? Is a time saving, money saving, powerful means of persuasion, promote friendliness, immediate feedback, quick clarification possible. So what are the drawbacks of the oral communication? That it is not suitable for lengthy messages, no retaining power, lack legal validity, distance barrier, and there is a responsibility. Here it is not fixed. Now next is the visual communication. So what are the visual communication? How many types of the visual communications are there by which we can communicate with each other, like the tables, graphs, pictures, demonstrations, posters, gestures. So visual communication makes use of visuals to strike home a message. However, it can only communicate simple ideas. To be effective, it has to be used within a combination of the other media. So next one is the audio-visual communication. The examples of the audio-visual communication, the cinema and the television. Audio-visual communication, use of visuals with the sound. It is highly suitable for the mass communication, mass publicity and mass media. Companies make use of this media to advertise their products. These advertisements affect demand considerably. In fact, a large sum is allotted in the annual budget of the companies for this purpose. So last is the computer-aided communication. So how we communicate with each other with the computer education, like email, voicemail, cellular phones, fax, internet, etc. There has been a revolutionary change in the field of the communication because of the advent of the computer. The world has become a global village. In fact, it has made many things possible. So there are many features of the computer education, like it is the fastest means of the communication. It has conquered the barrier of the space. There is too much storage capacity is there. World Wide Web, the video conferencing is there in the computer aided education. So if they have the features of the communication, there are some drawbacks also. So what are the drawbacks in the computer aided education? Like legal validity uncertain. Next, the problem of the virus. Leakage of information requires a lot of infrastructure. So now we are discussing these points one by one. The first is the legal validity uncertain. Computer records are not recognized as a legal document in the court of law because there is a fear of record being tampered. Next, the problem of virus. Virus is the bane of computers. It enters the system and files and corrupts them, resulting in the loss of valuable records which is difficult to retrieve. Next is the leakage of the information. As computer is easy to access, there is a fear of leakage of the information. Maybe it is due to accidental or maybe due to some purpose. Last point is the last drawback, you can say that it requires a lot of infrastructure. A computer-aided communication requires basic infrastructure which can prove to be quite expensive. Some places do not have this facility. So communicator has lots of ways of the communication. He has to make the befitting choices. Okay. Now the last is the silence. Silence is also a type of a communication. It can be more telling than words. At times, it conveys respect. For instance, when a teacher enters a class, the students who have been talking become silent out of the regard of the teacher. So silence can convey negative feelings also, like anger, indifference, disapproval, etc. So these are the topics we have done today. Thank you.